Hey, fifth grade class. Okay, so I need you to get your iReady packet, and I need you to look at page 32 and have 33 handy, because today we're going to go over pages 32 and 33, which is using context clues. Now, I know that you know all about context clues, and I know that you know what they are and how to use them. But sometimes we still struggle with reading and coming to a word that we don't know, and maybe we don't know all the types of context clues that there are. So it's always good to refresh yourself on the different types of context clues so that you can know all the different things that you could be looking for, and not just maybe if you don't see a definition, freak out. So today in page 32, we're going to look at 3 different types of context clues. Now, if you don't know, or maybe if it's just a little fuzzy, maybe you don't remember, a context clue is a hint in the passage that the author has given you that helps you figure out the definition of a word. There are several different things to look for. One is a definition, and you can see on page 32, there is a word that you may not know, and then a definition is given in that same sentence. So you can look for the definition of a word. You can look for a cause and an effect. Maybe there's a problem and there's a cause to that problem, or an effect to that problem that you can look for. And there's comparison. So maybe the author has given a word that you may not know, and you can see in that same sentence, oh, well, that's the opposite of that word that's given. So you can do comparison to try to figure out what the definition of a word is. That's the 3 different types of context clues that we are covering today: definition, cause and effect, and comparison. Now, there is a guided practice that you can get an adult or somebody that might be at home with you to go through at the bottom of page 32. But turn with me now to page 33. We're going to look at the independent practice. Now, I want you to read paragraph 1, answer questions 1 and 2. Read paragraph 2, answer questions 3 and 4. I want you to pause the video, and I want you to do that for me really quick before we continue, okay? Okay, so you should be back now, and we have questions 1, 2, 3, and 4 of page 33 answered. Okay, so look at question 1. I'm going to read it for us. What does the word marine mean in the paragraph? Okay, so the sentence that marine is in says, for centuries, people in coastal areas of China and Japan have harvested a superfood found in marine environments. Now, the one that I circled for question 1 is C, having to do with the ocean. And that's the one that I circled for number 1. Now, check yourself. Is that the same answer that you got? Did you get a different answer? If you got C as your answer, what context clues did you find in the paragraph that helped you figure out the definition to the word marine? Question 2 actually might help us with answering question 1. And the reason why I say that is because question 2 says, which 2 words from the paragraph help you understand the meaning of marine? Okay, so now we know that there are 2 words in the paragraph that are going to help us understand what the word marine means. So as I'm reading, for centuries, people in coastal areas of China have harvested a superfood found in marine environments. Now, what does the word environment mean? That's a place. That's a type of living place, right? At the beginning of that first sentence, it says people in coastal areas. That's an environment, right? So a marine environment, people in coastal areas. If you keep reading, it says recent studies show that eating seaweed. So there's seaweed in this environment. It says that this environment is a coastal area. Those 2 things are connected with the sea, right? Those 2 things are connected with the ocean. So that's exactly why I picked C for number 1. And that is exactly why for number 2, the answer is B, coastal and seaweed. The answer to number 2 is B, coastal and seaweed. So you get my thought process with all this. I looked for those 2 specific words that helped me figure out what the definition of marine was. That was using my context clues. Now let's jump over to paragraph 2. You should have already read this and answered questions 3 and 4. Okay, question number 3 says, what does the word detoxify mean in the paragraph? So I'm just going to quickly reread the sentence that has detoxify in it. It says, think crisp and crunchy. Cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, and kale detoxify harmful substances. Detoxifies harmful substances. Let me keep reading. As a result, they may help to prevent some forms of cancer. So these vegetables detoxify harmful substances. And it says, as a result, those are key words. As a result of this detoxifying, it may help prevent some forms of cancer. So the answer that I chose for number 3 is D, to remove bad effects. D. And I went through my thought process as to how I got D as my answer. Did you get a different answer? Or maybe you answered D. What's your thought process behind why you chose D to be your answer? Question number 4 says, which 2 words from the paragraph help you understand the meaning of detoxify? And that's exactly what question 4, just like question 2. Question 4 is helping us go through that thought process of, well, what are my context clues? What helped me figure out the definition of this word that I might not know? So as I'm reading, I see that vegetables help detoxify. I might not know what that means, but as a result, I told you those were key words. As a result, they may help to prevent some form of cancer. So if detoxify, if the definition that I chose was remove bad effects, then the words that helped me come to that conclusion were prevent and cancer. So that would be answer B, prevent and cancer. Is that what you got? Is that what you chose for question number 4? Was it B, prevent and cancer? Check yourself. Make sure that you're getting the correct answers, correcting yourself, self-assessing. All right, so to wrap up, we went over context clues today. And context clues are hints that are hidden throughout the paragraph that help us define words that we might not know what they mean. And the 3 different types of context clues that we covered today are definitions. You can look for the definition of the word. You can look for a cause and effect. There might be a problem and then a solution to that problem that you can look for. There might be a comparison. You might see the opposite of what that word means, and that might help you figure out what the definition of that word means. So you can look for definitions, cause and effects, and comparisons. All right, that is our review of context clues. Thank you guys.